Hi you guys, this is Jamie with Whatever's Clever Boutique, and thank you guys so much for coming back today for another tumbler tutorial. Today we are going to make this stunning tumbler using the new Flynn Sisters Supply Shop vinyl. Let's go ahead and get this tumbler rolling. Today I'm going to use Courage from the coveted Florals pack, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line using my all-in-one tool from Cami Page Boutique. So I'm just going to get my tumbler pushed up against the back there and take a paint pen and go ahead and draw that straight line so that we can line up our vinyl perfectly straight. Although on this tumbler I do struggle a little bit and I have to reposition, but you know, it was just one of those days. So for this strip of vinyl that's going to be on this tumbler, I'm not going to go all the way to the top and I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. So I went ahead and just eyeballed there where I wanted the vinyl to go, how much space I wanted on top, and then cut a piece that size. And I went ahead and kind of, like I said, had to reposition here because it was a little bit cattywampus there. But got that repositioned, used my big squeegee from the Bowen LLC, and went ahead and just pressed down that vinyl. Then I am going to take my straight edge cutter from Dubis Treasures on Etsy, and I just put on the cutter attachment and just go ahead and pull that straight down to create that perfectly straight line for us. We're going to go ahead and use Figgy today from Peachy Olive Glitters. And to apply my first coat of glitter, I'm just going to take my double-sided tape and wrap that right around that top and bottom, just because it's super easy and quick. You could also base coat, and then you apply your either epoxy or your glitter glue, Mod Podge, whatever you choose. Put that on, sprinkle your glitter, and then you generally go in with 2 coats with something like that. But for this, I just decided to do the double-sided tape because I knew I was probably going to have to do 2 coats anyway with one of those other methods. And with this one, I could just move straight into the next step after applying that first layer of glitter. So once I get that applied to the top of the tumbler, I'm going to go ahead and tape off my vinyl. This is prepping for our second coat of glitter where we're going to use glitter glue. So once we get that all on, we're going to go ahead and remove that double-sided tape from the top and the bottom and just start applying our glitter. And when I apply the glitter with double-sided tape, as you'll see here, I take my finger and kind of rub it in to the tape so that it adheres really well. Now, I would suggest putting a turner arm on your tumbler before doing that step. It just makes it so much easier. So I'm going to take Bordeaux Red. I'm not sure if I'm saying that. Bordeaux, however you say that. And I'm just going to apply that to the bottom of the tumbler. And I'm actually going to go straight in with the glitter, straight onto the paint for this one. And it actually ended up working really well. I've never done this before in the past. I've seen some other makers do it. So I was like, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. And it worked really well. So that's another option for laying your glitter down. And then once I get that all applied, I'm going to go in with my glitter glue. And I'm just going to paint right along the top and bottom glitter lines, right over top of that double-sided tape and glitter, and apply my second coats of glitter. Now, I've had some questions from some people wondering what I do with the glitter that is now on my mat. I just take, actually that's parchment paper. I have that laid down whenever I glitter. I take that parchment paper, put it right up to the top of that glitter bottle, and just shake it right back in there. Super simple. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that tape off, and look at how pretty it's looking. Then we're going to go ahead and take our glitter glue again once that's dried for about 2 hours. And now we're going to go back over top of that to seal in that glitter. Doing this is going to prevent any of that glitter from spreading when we go to apply epoxy. We don't want to contaminate our gorgeous vinyl. So this extra step really does benefit keeping that vinyl crisp and clean, keeping the glitter where it's supposed to be, and it just ends up looking great in the end this way. Now I put way too much glitter glue here on the bottom, so when I take my brush away, I'm actually taking that excess that's on the bottom and basically just brushing it off onto a paper towel because there was just way too much there. So that's what I'm doing. That's why my brush goes away, because I'm trying to remove some of that, but you definitely don't need as much as I had there. Once we get that done, we're going to go in with 2 coats of epoxy, and then we will be ready to clean our rim and do our sanding with our handy little, actually, nail drill. And I go ahead and just take that, put it on the high setting, and start going right around that rim to expose a little bit of that stainless steel. And the little tips that I put on this nail drill are little sanding bands, and when I was doing this one, my band was just getting a little bit too used and it wasn't being very effective. So I went ahead and just grabbed another one, stuck it right on the tip there, and started my sanding again. This thing seriously works like a dream. Now I'm just going to take my 100 grit sanding block and just make sure that that top area is smooth, because I do use a really low grit sanding band just so that it works a lot quicker. So now I just go in with the smaller or the higher grit, I should say, and I do that bottom rim. I make sure the top rim's smooth and knock down any potential pokey pieces that are on that tumbler. Then I go ahead and spray that down with some 91% alcohol and just wipe all that excess away. So now it's time to do our decal, and I'm measuring to see about how big I want to cut my SVG, and I end up deciding I'm going to cut it at about 4 inches long. So I got this really pretty SVG on Etsy, and it says make today ridiculously amazing, and I'm going to do the triple offset. If you guys have watched me in the past, you know I do this all the time. I just love the way it looks. So here is to doing another one. So my first layer there is going to be the dark green. Then we're going to go in with the white. So that's going to be our middle color. We're going to take a little piece of transfer tape and just apply that right over top of that white decal there, and we're going to just layer that right over top of the green. for our top layer, we're using the Neon Opal from Tech Wrap Craft. I love this stuff as well. I've used it in many tutorials. And I'm going to kind of piece this one a little bit. So I'm going to take a couple of the words and apply them separately just to make the layering a little bit easier. And once we get that all layered, it is time to add it to the tumbler. And I'm going to go ahead and take that backing off, and then I'm going to find the seam part of the tumbler. I'm going to lay this right over top of that seam to kind of cover that up and make this seem like a seamless tumbler. So I just kind of eyeball right where that middle is and lay that down. Now I'm going to go in with some pinstriping. I sped this way up because it took me so long. I struggled very hard this day trying to lay my pinstriping. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with that same neon opal orange and just lay that down. And then as you'll see here, I actually forgot to record, but I laid a metallic green nail tape down, and I ended up not liking it as the lower layer. So I went ahead and got some metallic purple and laid that as my kind of just shadowing pinstripe. And I liked it a lot more. So I have that neon orange opal, then I have that metallic green, and then the shadow is the purple metallic. Now, because we have a lot of vinyl work going on here, we're going to go in with a layer of quick coat just to make sure that none of our vinyl lifts. There is nothing worse than that. Oh, it is so frustrating. So taking this extra step, just like that glitter glue we did before, is going to just help give us a flawless finish. And once that dries, we're going to go in with another coat of epoxy. The epoxy that I use is KSRESIN Liquidy Split Ultra UV. As you know, I love this stuff. It just works so great for me. It has been the most consistent epoxy for myself and my environment. So I highly recommend you giving it a shot if you're in the market for a new epoxy. Don't forget to torch those air bubbles, and then we're going to go ahead and let that cure. And once that is cured, our tumbler is done. You guys, these vinyls, there actually are 5 vinyls in the pack, and you get 2 of each vinyl. They are all absolutely stunning. I am so obsessed with this vinyl. Jessica Flynn knocked it out of the park with these. I highly suggest you guys go and follow her shop to get notified when these come back in stock. They are so gorgeous. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I will have everything I use listed and linked down in the description box below, as well as some discount codes for you. And I cannot wait to be back next week with another tumbler tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.